Welcome to Wow Wednesday. Wow woman, woman of worth, you are worth it, and your worth is far above rubies. Let's look at money, sex, and power. These are buzzwords in today's modern society. Money, sex, and power are powerful motivators for humanity. Money, sex, and power are powering gods of our age. We live in a day and an age when people look for happiness, significance, and purpose in life by worshiping the three buzzwords: money, sex, and power. In the book of Hebrews, sex, money, and power and how they affect us is addressed in depth. Wow, woman, if we do not wrestle with temptation in the areas of money, sex, and power, it's only because we have already surrendered to them. Russell Moore. Hi, Susan here, the Extra Age Executive Coach. Today, we are featuring Herodias. We have grown up with influencers like Beyonce. How about the women in the Bible? What's our take home from them? Herodias. Her name is the female form of Herod, means heroic. She was a proud woman, manipulative. She acted arrogantly and totally disregarded the laws of the land. Hindsight, let's look at the Herod dynasty to give us a glimpse of her upbringing. What was her genealogy like? Her grandfather was Herod the Great. He murdered every boy child who was 2 years and below to ensure the Messiah had no chance of survival after the wise men had visited him. Oh, his dynasty was a bloody one. Herod the Great murdered his favorite wife and 3 of his sons for real or imagined intrigues. His reign produced a time of universal mourning rather than celebration. He crowned his reign with a legacy of a magnificent, beautiful building, the best architecture had to offer, the Temple of Herod in Jerusalem. Herodias was married to Philip. Philip and his half-brother Antipas had been lucky survivors of Herod the Great's Game of Thrones. Philip and Herodias languished in Rome with no territory to rule. Antipas was the luckier one of the two. He was appointed Tetrarch of Galilee and Perea. Herodias sensed Antipas herald's power, and power was one of Herodias' triggers, which was used successfully as a seduction tool to ensure she divorced her husband Philip and married his brother Antipas. Her husband Philip, as well as her second husband Antipas, were her uncles. She was their niece. Herod Antipas led a compromised, immoral life. He divorced his wife, a princess, and married his wife's brother, Herodias. Antipas made marriage a disposable item, despite what the Jewish culture and religion stood for. His religion took a backseat to his position. A key lesson here: a compromised life breeds immorality. You can compromise between good, better, and best. And you can compromise between bad, worse, and terrible. But you can't compromise between good and evil. Where was Herod Antipas leading his subjects with this high level of compromise? Let us look at life lessons from Herodias' life and her husband Antipas as a power couple. John the Baptist, the mega preacher in the wilderness with the message of repentance, confronted the sin of Herodias and Antipas on their marital issue of marrying his brother's wife, which was forbidden. Game of Thrones, nobody can question my authority or decision, including John the Baptist. With severe pressure from Herodias, who did not want her sin pointed out, he arrested John the Baptist and put him in prison. He feared the reaction of his subjects since John the Baptist had great influence. He also knew he was a righteous man and a holy man, and his message intrigued him. But to please his wife, he put John the Baptist in prison. Herod had a lavish birthday party, and this party was attended by who's who, a list of dignitaries. During the evening, Herodias' daughter Salome danced. Her performance was an outstanding one that pleased the guests. He pleased Herod that he requested that even up to half his kingdom would be granted to her. Salome, the dancer, hastened to her mother's advice and requests. And Herodias had only one thing in mind: the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Salome surprised Antipas with a gruesome demand. I want you to give me right now the head of John the Baptist on a platter. Herod Antipas was greatly distressed by her request. At the prospect of breaking an oath he had publicly made in a complete disregard of the Jewish law, which prohibited execution without trial. However, a promise is a debt. He immediately ordered for John's death. The man Jesus referred to as the greatest of those who had yet lived. John, the last of the prophets, the forerunner, a new Elijah. His preaching was to prepare the way. Ironically, he was sacrificed before Jesus was sacrificed. Was this a Halloween party gone wrong? The order on a platter arrived, a bloody head. The deal was sealed. Wow, bad girl, bad mother. Salome's dance turned a bit into an orgy. Her dance became the mother's tool of vengeance. John the Baptist had condemned her as an incestuous adulteress. This teenage girl would certainly require counseling. This was just not an attack, but a brutal, bloody attack on an innocent servant of God. Who does that? Is this woman, Herodias, worse than Jezebel? Herodias was consumed by bitterness, anger, and hatred for John the Baptist. While women, if we do not confront our anger, it will become a tool for destroying others and eventually destroying us. If we do not hasten to correction, we become hard-hearted and sever our conscience and become enemies of God. We may not be murderers, but our thoughts, actions, speech can have a negative impact on others. We can kill their hope, their mental, physical, and spiritual health. Are we calling others and inviting others to share our sin? A godly woman should influence positively. Let's not use our position, power, and authority to destroy destiny. Anger and bitterness can go unnoticed until it's too late. What influence, while women, are we passing on to the next generation? While woman, never trust the sweetness of the tongue and never doubt the bitterness of the truth. Anger and bitterness can rob you of peace, not your enemies. Forgiving someone who is not contrite is removing the root of bitterness before the poison sets in. Wow, woman of worth, you are worth it, and your worth is far above rubies. Put your mind on a VIP mode. It's your red carpet moment. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for safe. Fix your crown. Get up, get over it, and move on. Remember, your purpose is your superpower.